None of us truly wants any passenger to miss their cruise, but watching a ship depart while someone runs desperately to catch it often brings an oddly thrilling sense of excitement for those already on board, and even for us watching from afar. Get ready for some of the funniest moments from Pier runners.
But before we dive into the main topic, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to help me reach my first milestone of 5,000 subscribers, and like if you find the video useful. It really means a lot and gives me the motivation to keep improving both the content and video editing. Thank you so much.
First up, we've got a hilarious clip of a woman in a floppy gold hat sprinting full speed toward the gangway like she's in the final lap of the Olympics. The crew is already lifting the gangway off the pier, but instead of, actually running faster, she whips out her phone and starts filming the crowd of passengers above her who are cheering and yelling like it's some kind of reality show. Seriously, at the very moment she could miss her cruise, she decides it's the perfect time to become a travel vlogger. Honestly, it's both funny and a little sad. I half expected her to just drop to her knees in despair when the ship pulled away. Luckily for her, the crew lowered the gangway back down and she managed to board. Staff even gave her a sort of celebrity escort back onto the ship, though she looked like she was saying one last emotional goodbye to dry land. But here's the kicker. She wasn't even the last latecomer. More stragglers came running in, including an elderly man with a cane who was hustling like it was his own personal marathon. Respect, sir. Respect. By this point, the crew was just calmly standing there, almost with a vibe of, go ahead, take your time. We've seen it all. We'll wait. You could practically see them rolling their eyes and sipping imaginary coffee. And yes, of course, the inevitable happened. A few unlucky passengers still missed the ship, even with the help of an electric cart to speed them up. The ship pulled away, leaving them waving goodbye from the pier. Brutal. All I can say is better luck next time. Second, we've got an absolutely wild video that's just as entertaining. Right as the ship is about to depart, a group of marathon runners suddenly appears. One is sprinting with shoes in hand, another has ditched footwear completely, and is running barefoot for maximum speed. At this point, neatness and composure are long gone. The only thought running through their heads is simply run, run, run. Their strides are nearly double the length of a normal step, fueled by the cheers of hundreds of passengers watching from the ship. If it's the finals of a race. Oh wait, look over there. There's still one more runner coming. But then, they suddenly stop halfway. Turns out it was all just a prank. They veered off to another pier nearby, leaving everyone watching in confusion and laughter. First up, at the port of Cozumel, a couple is seen sprinting in a last-minute dash to catch their ship. It's as if they were casually enjoying a swim when they suddenly remembered the ship's departure time. The woman still has a towel wrapped around her, while the man is shirtless, using a hat to cover his stomach. The cheers from passengers already on the ship seem to fuel their energy, pushing them to run even faster. Eventually, they manage to make it back on board, though they look completely worn out. The man's skin is bright red from the effort. Next, we have an even more hilarious moment. In a heart-pounding moment captured on video, a woman and her young daughter became the center of a dramatic pier runner scene at a bustling cruise port. As the cruise ship's departure horn blared, the mother sprinted toward the gangway. Her little girl, struggling to keep up, stumbled behind. Onlookers on the ship's deck cheered wildly, urging them on. When the mother reached the gangway, her 8-year-old daughter was still a short distance behind. For a moment, it seemed like the little girl might be left behind by her own mom, but luckily, both mother and daughter made it onto the ship just in time, breathing a collective sigh of relief. The crowd erupted in cheers at the sight. Next comes another entertaining moment at the scenic port of Sitka. 2 grand ships were docked side by side, the Norwegian Bliss calmly awaiting its passengers, and the Crown Princess already reversing and preparing to depart. A man came sprinting down the pier, eyes wide with panic, clearly convinced his vacation was about to vanish into the horizon. His pace was frantic. With every step, the departing ship seemed farther away. In a desperate attempt to save time, he flung his belongings onto the dock, laser-focused on catching the ship he thought was his. Passengers aboard the Norwegian Bliss looked on, from balconies and railings, some stifling laughter, others gasping in sympathy. But wait, something doesn't seem right. Just as the man slumped in defeat, A fellow passenger pointed toward the Norwegian Bliss, the very ship still tied to the dock behind him. A moment of silence. Realization struck. He had been chasing the wrong ship all along. What followed was pure gold. The man burst out laughing, gave a sheepish bow to his amused audience, and raised his fist in a mix of triumph and embarrassment. Vacation saved. Dignity slightly dented, but the story unforgettable. There are moments in travel when panic sparks creativity, and not always in the best way. At a busy cruise port, as one ship slowly pulled away from the dock, a pair of friends found themselves in a last-minute crisis. One of them had accidentally left his phone behind on the tour bus. With seconds to spare and the ship already moving, the man on land did what any overly confident friend might try. He decided to throw the phone up to his buddy standing on the balcony of the ship. Because, of course, phones fly like boomerangs, right? What happened next was the definition of close, but not even remotely. The phone sailed through the air in an impressively hopeful arc, and then plunged straight into the ocean with a splash heard round the pier. Not even close. It was a 10 out of 10 for effort and 0 for execution. A little absurd, completely unnecessary, but wildly entertaining for anyone watching. Let it serve as a reminder, when it comes to cruise departures, maybe stick to waving goodbye and leave the phone tossing to the Olympians. And finally, oh boy, our last clip. The camera's peeking through a glass panel, and what do we see? A trio making their way back to the ship. But there's a catch. One of them is absolutely hammered. I mean, she looks like she has no clue what planet she's even on. Her poor friends keep stopping, trying to hold her up, maybe even slipping sunglasses on her like, yeah, totally fine here, nothing to see, just a casual strut back to the ship. But let's be real, when you can't even walk in a straight line and nearly face-plant onto the pavement, sunglasses aren't going to save you. And here's the thing, cruise lines these days, they're not playing around. Many have strict rules about boarding drunk passengers. Translation: if you show up looking like this, there's a good chance you'll be left waving goodbye from the dock while your vacation sails away without you. Honestly, watching this makes me wonder, was the margarita worth it? After all, these situations are quite entertaining and funny, but I strongly advise you not to repeat anything like this unless you actually want to miss your ship, lose money, and be left figuring out how to get to the next port on your own.
Is a perfect mix of comedy and tragedy, starring a couple who unfortunately missed their fun and relaxing cruise vacation before it even began. Just as the gangway was being pulled away and the ship started to move, their little electric cart came rolling in, fashionably late. You could see the heartbreak written all over their faces, pure regret mixed with disbelief. But while their misery was real for others, it was prime entertainment. Passengers watching from nearby balconies gasped, laughed, clapped, and even shouted cheeky remarks like it was some kind of live reality show. The whole scene was filmed from another cruise ship docked nearby, capturing every second of the couple's embarrassment and the crowd's gleeful reactions. Lesson learned. Once that ship starts moving, it's not turning back for you. So, dear cruisers, no matter how great your shopping or selfie session at port, is always get back to the ship on time. Next up is a truly entertaining clip that proves some cruise ships still give passengers one last shot at redemption. Literally in the final minutes before departure. The video filmed by a fellow cruiser shows a ship that was scheduled to leave at 6:30 p.m., but graciously lingered for another 10 to 20 minutes. At 6:40, a small family came sprinting down the pier, or rather, the kids were sprinting, while the parents were casually strolling like they owned the place. Apparently, they figured the ship would wait for them anyway. Talk about testing the captain's patience. The camera even pans to the captain can be seen standing stoically, probably questioning his life choices as he waits. But just when you think it's over, surprise. At 6:45, another group shows up, and then again at 6:49. The crew's faces say it all, that perfect mix of politeness and pure frustration. You can almost hear them thinking, "Come on, people, this isn't an Uber. It's a cruise ship. Wow! Now this is what I call a true pier-running athlete. Someone give this man a gold medal." With long, powerful strides and a surprisingly athletic build, He sprinted down that pier like he's trained for this moment his whole life. Honestly, he probably has. Maybe from running late to work every day. What makes it even funnier, he's clutching his shoes and flip-flops in one hand, as if fashion still matters when your cruise ship is about to leave without you. And in true hero fashion, our victorious runner even blew a kiss toward the ship, celebrating his glorious comeback. And here we go again. Another adorable yet unlucky family caught in the ultimate race against time. You can see the panic in motion, kids giggling and sprinting like it's recess, while mom and dad trail behind juggling bags, towels, and probably a good dose of regret. It's chaos, but wholesome chaos. It's a perfect reminder for all family cruisers. When one person's late, everyone's late. So next time, set that alarm a little earlier, double-check the time, and remember, family may be inseparable, but on a cruise ship, being inseparable and being on time are two very different things. And now, folks, it's time for another round of the Cruise Ship Olympics. This time, we're not cheering for a male runner. Our star athlete is a stunning female marathoner sprinting with grace, determination, and probably a touch of panic. From the port gate all the way to the cruise ship, she's giving us a performance worthy of an action movie scene. You can almost hear the crowd roaring from the decks, cheering her on like she's about to win gold. This next clip may be short, but wow, it's packed with pure heartbreak and maybe a bit of comedy. Our poor passenger arrives at the dock on a little electric cart, only to see their cruise ship gracefully sailing away into the sunset. Talk about bad timing. You can almost feel the despair as they realize they didn't just miss the ship, they also paid for the ride to watch it leave. It's the ultimate too late moment. No running, no drama, just silent regret and the hum of an electric cart heading back to shore. And if this was just a port stop, oh boy, that means they're now in charge of finding their own way to the next port, plus paying for it. A tough and expensive lesson in cruise punctuality. When the captain says, "All aboard," he really means it. Now, this next video is pure chaos, the kind of dramatic scene you'd expect in a movie, not a cruise port. You can barely hear a thing over all the shouting. At first, you think it's the passengers on deck cheering, but nope. It's the cruisers below screaming their lungs out, desperately trying to catch the captain's attention. They're waving, yelling, maybe even praying for a miracle. But let's be real. Once that anchor's up, there's no turning back. The ship's not coming around for anyone, no matter how loud you yell. Moral of the story. When a cruise says, "Departure time," they're not kidding. So save your voice and be on time. Now this one's a special kind of legendary. The cruise ship had literally just pulled up the gangway engines, humming ready to sail off into the horizon, when someone suddenly spots a poor passenger still down on the dock. Talk about last-minute drama. This wasn't just any pier runner moment. It was a once-in-a-blue-moon rescue mission. Since the ship was already set to depart, the crew had to improvise by lowering a rope ladder. Yep, our lucky and slightly embarrassed latecomer had to climb aboard like an action hero sneaking onto a pirate ship. The crew handled it like total pros. Safety vest, support staff, and calm coordination all the way. Let's be honest, the cruiser got lucky this time. But for the rest of us, maybe just leave 5 minutes earlier next time. Way easier than climbing your way back to vacation. And here we have another impromptu marathon at the pier. It's not as dramatic as some of the previous races, but the tension is real. These passengers are running late, and you can practically hear the ship's horn yelling, "Faster, move it!" as if it's personally invested in their sprint. Of course, no cruise ship dash would be complete without the cheers and whistles from fellow passengers. Every hoot-holler and playful shout adds to the hilarious energy, turning what could be stressful panic into a full-on spectator sport. Late or not, these moments are pure entertainment. A chaotic, adrenaline-fueled tradition of cruise travel that never fails to make you laugh. Next up, we've got another classic almost missed the ship moment. But this time, luck was on our passengers' side. They managed to hail a taxi and make a last-minute dash straight to the cruise dock. You can see them leaning out the car window, waving frantically, trying to grab anyone's attention, because, yes, they were officially late. Luckily, the ship's crew was ready and waiting, making the boarding process smooth, despite the dramatic entrance. The relief and pure joy on their faces are priceless. You can practically feel the stress melting away. Even the taxi driver got in on the celebration, cheering them on like they'd just won a gold medal. Next video, we have a married couple running late to the ship, but with a hilarious twist, the crew had to escort them aboard personally. Judging by their wobbly steps, it's clear they weren't about to sprint a marathon like some of the other passengers. Perhaps they celebrated a bit too enthusiastically at the port stop and now had to pay the price. You can only imagine the crew's patience being tested, but in true professional fashion, they helped the couple safely on board. And despite their slightly tipsy state, the couple couldn't hide their excitement, celebrating like they'd just won the race. Sometimes cruise drama isn't about missing the ship. It's about the unforgettable stories you collect along the way. Next up, we've got a classic too late, too bad moment at the cruise port. Two cars pull up full of passengers who thought they could make it, only to realize their ship has already sailed off into the sunset without them. Cue the panic, confusion, and dramatic wandering around the dock as they search for a miracle that isn't coming. One unlucky passenger even flopped back into the car in pure disappointment, or maybe exhaustion, or, let's be honest, possibly a little port-side indulgence catching up with them. Switching over to another port, we've got yet another mini marathon in action. The ship was scheduled to depart at 1:30 p.m., but at 1:38 our videographers spotted two groups of latecomers making a frantic dash toward the gangway. The sun is blazing, the dock feels endless, and these passengers are sprinting like their vacation depends on it. Because it does. Cheers and shouts of encouragement mix with the pounding of their feet, creating the perfect soundtrack for chaos.